The heart of every camping trailer is the power system, because without that, you can't do some of the things you need to do. So today we're going to take a look at our solar cell that we designed for the Overland Command camping trailer. I designed the trailer to run on solar power. The idea here is that it runs on batteries all the time and that they are charged by solar or by shore power hookup or by the car hookup. This solar generator is a 400 watt model. It's the equivalent of a Goal Zero Yeti 400, and it holds 40 amp hours of batteries with the capability to daisy chain other battery packs to extend the capacity. I put the generator in a 50 caliber ammo can. The idea here is to keep it movable, portable, and lightweight. The top opens up and has a little tray where you can contain your extension cords and connections. The connection side of the box has the outlets for power, the daisy chain port, and the charging port. I used Anderson power pole connectors here for the 12 volt connection and the auxiliary connection. They only go in one way. You can do them in the dark, and it doesn't really matter if you get them connected to the wrong port. Those run from the same part of the bus. Either connection will provide power or provide auxiliary. So they're labeled, but it doesn't make much difference. On the charging side, we're using SAE connectors, and you can input to that charge port from either their solar panel or from a wall charger, provided you wire to the right connector. So what if you don't have the right connector on hand? What if you just have wires or some weird kind of connector? I've accounted for that in the design by using these banana plugs. So you can see these correspond to the connectors on the outside, the 12 volt side and the charge side. And those can be plugged into also with banana plugs or with clamps, or because these will unscrew and you can slide a wire right through there and then screw this back down tight, you can just strip off a 1/4 inch of wire and use the bare wire. So basically you can connect to this from any source or any kind of wiring that you have. The control side of the solar generator is turned on with this switch, and that brings up the solar controller. We're at full charge now. This controller works for more than just solar, obviously. It's designed to be set up in a solar setting. So the connections here, this is where your charge comes in, usually the solar panels, but not necessarily. It comes from here to this part. This is the battery connection. This is the battery connection, and this is the load connection. And the controller basically keeps an eye on the voltages and the power and allocates power to where it needs to go. There's a little more to it than that, but that covers the general idea. And it has USB chargers on the front panel, so you can charge your cell phones or your camera batteries or whatever you need to. And then on the control panel part, we have the same thing. We have USB chargers, 12 volt outlet, and the voltmeter so you can monitor the status of the charge without having to play with the lights on the solar controller on that little screen. In operation, you have to turn this cell on and then connect it to your trailer or whatever source you're having. So the master switch turns the entire system on and off. If that's not on, nothing's working. But that prevents the controller and the little voltmeter and all the lights on it from being a micro drain on the batteries themselves. Here's a shot of how the Anderson power poles work. My little extension cord here is for the auxiliary battery, and these plugs will only go in one way, and they just slide in like that. If you try to put them in upside down, they won't work. And because they're keyed together in a certain way, the polarity is always maintained. This type of connector is big in the ham radio world. It's called an Anderson power pole, and they're useful in all sorts of scenarios. So the way this would work is you plug this in here, this other end plugs into the same port on the auxiliary battery pack, which would look just like this but have 2 or 3 batteries in it. plug in there, and then you have extended the capacity beyond the 40 amp hours. In my case, I wanted the trailer just to always run that way. My shore power hookup is strictly to charge the batteries in the solar generator, and it always runs on 12 volt. If you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments below, and we will answer them as quick as possible. And I hope this was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe the channel, and we will see you next time.